Genetics helps us understand the biological programming behind all life forms. But what exactly is the science of genetics? And what does its future hold? Genetics is the study of heredity, the expression of traits and how they are passed from generation to generation. For thousands of years, humans have observed this inheritance of traits and implemented their knowledge to breed and domesticate plants and animals. However, the science behind inheritance was only starting to be understood in the mid-19th century. Around 1865, Austrian monk and botanist Gregor Mendel published the results of his hybridization studies of pea plants. In his findings, he noted the role of factors that influence the expression of traits. These factors later became known as genes. Each human has between 20,000 and 25,000 genes. This collection, called a genome, determines a person's traits by influencing factors on a cellular level. Genetic information is stored in every cell's nucleus. Structures called chromosomes carry this information in the form of deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. DNA is a double helix of nucleotides, chemical compounds composed of sugar and phosphate molecules, along with the bases thymine, adenine, guanine, and cytosine. These segments of DNA are what we call genes, and it is within those genes that chemical compounds provide the coding for all information about a person's inherited traits. Human cells contain so much DNA to carry this large amount of information that, if unraveled, the DNA in each cell would be over 6 feet long. At the turn of the 21st century, an international effort to decode human DNA was launched. Called the Human Genome Project, it ended up identifying about 99% of the entire human genetic sequence.
A revolution in medical science whose implications far surpass even the discovery of antibiotics.
Discoveries in genetics research have unearthed tremendous opportunities in medicine, such as genetic testing and the manipulation of genes. But with these opportunities come risks and ethical questions. And finding the answers to those questions may be the next stage of our understanding of genetics.
Welcome back to Expedition 62 on the International Space Station. Tonight we thought we would show you a little bit about some meal prep, what we do for meals on board the space station. How do we prepare our food? So the answer is, we have a great variety of food up here.
Two different general types of food, thermostabilized food in these green packets that's very similar to military MREs, or meals ready to eat. And then we also have freeze-dried food.
So all of the water content has been sucked out. This is just basic asparagus, so we need to add the water back in. We want to make sure all that water is mixing in, and then we usually put it here inside the food warmer.
And then we have refrigerated space here. They've been nice enough to allow us to use these just for food. All right,
Dinner
the dinner
time.
table.
Some Turkish fish stew. I have butternut squash.
All right, and I'm having, I have rice with butter, some lentil soup, and grilled chicken patty. A lot of the Russian food comes in cans. This was one of my favorites. This is spicy beef and rice.
Space makes eating a lot more fun. You can turn your spoon upside down, or even let it go, and nothing's gonna fall off. You can eat in any direction. You can eat upside down if I want to.
Human organ systems. The human body is a complex network of multiple organ systems. An organ system is a group of organs that work together as a system to perform one or more functions. Cells present in every single part of the body. A group of similar cells form tissues. A group of similar tissues make organs. Each organ does a particular job in the body, and it is made up of distinct tissues. In this video, we will talk about the main organ systems which are responsible of our body functions. The human body is made up of several organ systems that all work together as a unit to make sure the body keeps functioning. Please subscribe and click on the bell icon to get regular updates. The main systems of the human body are circulatory system. The circulatory system is also called as cardiovascular system. It is an organ system that circulates blood around the body via the heart, arteries, and veins, delivering oxygen and nutrients to organs and cells and carrying the waste products away. It keeps the body's temperature in a safe range. Digestive system and excretory system. This organ system breaks down the food, absorbs nutrients, and removes waste via gastrointestinal tract, including the mouth, esophagus, stomach, and intestines. It eliminates waste from the body. Endocrine system. It influences the function of the body using hormones. It provides communication within the body using hormones made by endocrine glands. Hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal gland, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal glands, and many other glands are grouped together to form endocrine system. Integumentary system or exocrine system. It helps in exterior protection of the body and in thermal regulation. Skin, hair, nails, sweat, and other exocrine glands involved in the system. It may serve to waterproof and to protect deeper tissues, excrete wastes, and regulate body temperature. It is an attachment site for sensory receptors to detect pain, sensation, pressure, and temperature. Immune system and lymphatic system. This system defends the body against pathogens that may endanger the body. The system comprising a network of lymphatic vessels that carry a clear fluid called lymph. An immune system must detect a wide variety of agents known as pathogens, from viruses to parasitic worms, and distinguish them from the organism's own healthy tissue. Muscular system. It permits movement of the body and maintains posture. Skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles are part of this muscular system. Together with skeletal system, it forms musculoskeletal system, which is responsible for the movement of the body. Nervous system. The nervous system is a highly complex organ system that coordinates its actions and sensory information by transmitting signals to and from different parts of its body. It collects and processes information from the senses via nerves and the brain and tells the muscles to contract to cause physical actions. Brain, spinal cord, nerves, sensory organs are part of this system. Renal system or urinary system. Maintains fluid and electrolyte balance. It purifies blood and excretes liquid waste in the form of urine. In this system, the kidneys filter blood to produce urine and to get rid of that waste. Kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra are part of this organ system. Respiratory system. It brings air into and out of the lungs to absorb oxygen and to remove carbon dioxide. Lungs are the main organs of the respiratory system. Gas exchange in the lungs occurs in millions of small air sacs called alveoli. Nose, mouth, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, lungs, and diaphragm are part of this respiratory system. Skeletal system. Bones maintain the structure of the body and its organs. The skeleton can also be seen as the bony framework of the body, which provides support, shape, and protection to the soft tissues and delicate organs in animals. It also helps in production of blood cells. Bones, cartilage, ligaments, and tendons are part of skeletal system. Reproductive system. The reproductive organs required for the production of offspring. Reproduction is the process by which organisms make more organisms like themselves. Reproductive system is essential to keep a species alive.
flying balls. If you played any kind of sport like tennis or soccer, then you might be familiar with the Magnus effect. For example, a group of guys dropped a basketball from the top of a 415-foot-high dam. When they just dropped the ball, it landed below under where it was dropped. On the next basketball, they added a spin before dropping, and the result was that the ball ended up flying through the air. The Magnus effect has been used to describe how balls fly in the air in tennis and soccer, and it has been used in lieu of sailboats and wings for an airplane. It's all about the direction of the spinning and flow of the air. Grenade survival. Grenades and explosives are no joke, and if we encounter one in person, we think we're generally doomed. If you encounter a grenade underwater, you're actually less likely to survive than if you encounter a grenade by land. Why? The blast from a grenade on land is less lethal because air is compressible, but underwater, the blast wave will crush your lungs because you can't fight back with a wave of equal force. So if you see a grenade underwater, get out of the water ASAP. No glasses? No problem. If you wear glasses, then you know that if you don't have them, you're pretty much screwed. But not all hope is lost. Whether your glasses broke or your contacts fell out, there is another way. All you need to do is make a pinhole with your hands and look through it. It works. But what is this witchcraft? Well, vision is connected with light and how much of it is coming through your retinas. By making a pinhole, you are controlling and focusing the light that's coming into your retinas and will help you see clearer without your glasses. Obviously, don't try this while driving. You hear us, Mr. Magoo? Exploding whales. Dead whales pop up on beaches often, and that is literal. If you see a dead whale on the beach, you might be tempted to get a closer look, but in reality, you need to stay as far away as possible. As the dead whale decomposes, it fills up with methane and other gases. But because humans love to poke around at dead whales, this causes the body to explode when provoked. That is not only a massive mess, but it is a mess that smells awful. Raining diamonds. As that famous song goes, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And if it was possible to inhabit Saturn and Jupiter, we imagine women everywhere would want to live on these planets. Scientists strongly believe that diamonds rain from the skies of Saturn and Jupiter. It all has to do with methane, and the planet's lightning storms turn it into soot. Then, the soot hardens into chunks of graphite and diamond as it falls to the ground. Are there any science experiments you wish you did in school? Stay tuned to find out more cool science facts and see if your answer changes. Swallowing a star. Stars and black holes have been studied for hundreds of years. In science class, we learned that stars can get swallowed up by black holes. But what actually happens, and what does it look like? When a black hole swallows a star, the star is ripped apart by the black hole's gravitational force. Some of the star's remains go into the black hole, while the rest is burped out, causing a huge jet of plasma to shoot out. So next time you get in trouble for burping at the table, just say you're emulating a black hole. Fungus for relatives. When Charles Darwin first introduced the theory of evolution, religious people went nuts because it went against their belief in creationism. There are still creationists that take offense to the fact that we may have evolved from monkeys, but we might have another relative, and that is mushrooms. This is because mushrooms are fungi, and they share a common ancestor with animals, which is algae. Also, fungus plays a major role in the decomposition process of living things, including humans. Want some delicious stuffed human meat? We mean mushrooms? Burping in space. If you are dreaming about becoming an astronaut and you hope to one day be able to burp in space, then call us Dream Dashers. You actually can't burp in space. It all depends on gravity. Gravity helps keep the solid and wet stuff down so that all that comes out is gas. But when there's no gravity, after you try to burp, you'll end up vomiting instead. The same goes for farting, taking sharding to a whole new cosmic level. Frozen boil. We have learned that if water gets to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, then it freezes. If water reaches 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it boils. With this in mind, it should be impossible for water to freeze and boil at the same time, right? Wrong. It's called the triple point, and it happens when conditions are just right for all three phases of water, solid, liquid, and gas, to coexist in thermodynamic equilibrium. It's not an experiment you can do at home safely, but it can happen. Wide open spaces. Atoms are like mini solar systems, and matter is generally empty. In other words, atoms have a lot of space between each other. If you were to remove that space, you can fit the entire human race into the volume of a sugar cube. Atoms are 99.99% empty space. Only 4% of the mass of the universe is the atoms that make up the planets, stars, and humans. The rest is empty space. Remember that question we asked earlier? Based on these new facts, what experiments do you wish you did in school? Remember to vote for your favorite answer and we'll pin the winning comment. Need some science experiments to do at home? What are scientists still trying to figure out?
Lying down no longer makes any sense, for example, as there is no down.
And then some people like to tie themselves, but I actually don't. I really like to just float when I'm sleeping. So that's really it. I would turn the light off and good night.
Our normal sleeping patterns are disrupted by the lack of feedback from our body's posture during cycles of rest and activity. In fact, astronauts have to take steps to ensure they don't float around while sleeping in space. They tie themselves into sleeping bags. In order to sleep well, our core body temperature needs to cool, which is also extremely difficult when, again, there is no down. Even something as natural as resting is quite difficult when you're up there in space. 9th place, crying. Humans cry when they feel sad or they feel overjoyed. Sometimes it might just be an allergy or something that actually got into your eye. However, astronauts don't have that alternative open to them. Astronauts can laugh in space as normal, but crying is quite different without gravity. When asked if he could cry in space, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield answered, "Can you cry in space? Your eyes make tears, but they stick as a liquid ball. In fact, they sting a bit."
Just as if I've started crying, my eye is full of tears. But you can see it just forms a ball on my eye. In fact, I can put more water in. And so if you keep crying, you just ended up with a bigger and bigger ball of water in your eye.
So, space tears don't shed. Unless they literally wipe the water away with their hands, tears in space can form a giant clump, turning into a realistic ball of tears that flies around. Definitely really weird. 8th place, eating bread. Eating bread is a normal activity for most of us humans. We eat sandwiches, hamburgers, and even that super healthy yet still delicious avocado toast. But that's when we're down here on planet Earth and enjoying our normal gravity's effect on our food. In space, the rules of the game change completely. Similar to the difficulty zero gravity causes to sleep, eating bread is almost impossible in space. Crumbs from bread, crackers, cookies, etc. don't do well in space. They float around and can fly into an astronaut's eyes and interfere with important equipment. That's why you'll find tortillas used instead of bread on all crafts traveling out of orbit. Crumb-free bread would be a great alternative if it could be implemented in space travel, though. 7th place, coffee. Many people can't really start their day without a hot cup of coffee. But in space, astronauts have found other ways to begin their admittedly not very bright mornings. That's because water's an important ingredient in coffee, though pouring coffee grounds into boiling water while under the influence of zero gravity is extremely dangerous. That's why a special espresso machine that uses capsules of coffee grounds was developed for orbiting astronauts. 6th place, using the restroom.
Welcome to the toilet of the International Space Station.
Using the restroom is extremely difficult in space, so much that astronauts are required to complete a toilet training program. There are 2 different bathroom mechanisms, each designed for a specific bodily function. When nature calls, astronauts use a specially designed toilet seat for solid waste and a liquid waste vacuum tube with different sized funnels for men and women.
Most of us actually prefer to lift this one as well and use directly the opening that goes into the bag. And in fact, there is a bag in there. It looks like this. And when we are done with our business, we close the bag and we push it down into the solid waste container. And then, of course, as a courtesy to the next person, we put a new fresh bag inside.
So, what do you think of these things you cannot do in space so far? Let us know what you think in the comments. Also, make sure to stay until the end to learn about the remaining things you cannot do in space. You'll be shocked to learn what's at the bottom of our list. 5th place, alcohol. More than something you can't do in space, this is something most spaceflight corporations prohibit you from doing. A funny story is that in 1972, alcohol was on the menu for the Skylab 4 mission. However, many people found out about this and even sent angry letters to NASA about bringing alcohol to a spaceflight. Astronaut Edward G. Gibson said in his letter that astronauts represent a form of purity, and as soon as that purity is tainted with alcohol, people really get upset. Alcoholic drinks are generally disallowed in spaceflight, but space agencies have previously allowed its consumption. NASA has been stricter about alcohol consumption than the Roscosmos, both according to regulations and in practice. Astronauts and cosmonauts are restricted from being intoxicated at launch for very obvious reasons. If driving a car while drunk is bad, imagine a rocket or a spaceship. So yes, alcohol's a big no-no for space travel. 4th place, shaving. Yes, as we do on Earth, astronauts also grow hair in many of their body parts. However, unlike we do, astronauts have quite a difficult time shaving these annoying hairs. Both female and male astronauts shave in space and are provided with either an electric razor or a disposable razor. Most astronauts choose electric razors because of the scarcity of running water on the ISS. Most male astronauts choose to keep their hair short while on board the ISS to avoid any complications with zero gravity. They definitely do not want to see hairs floating around and ending up somewhere they shouldn't. In order to get a haircut, astronauts use a hair shaver attached to a vacuum that sucks up all the hair trimmings. Now that we have arrived to our top 3, get ready to learn all about the 3 most difficult things to actually do in space. 3rd place, brushing your teeth. You know something's difficult to do in space when there are even video tutorials available on YouTube titled How to Brush Your Teeth in Space. Considering that only 600 people or even less have actually been to space, this tutorial isn't really helpful for most people, to be honest. Anyway, brushing your teeth in space is extremely hard. Here's the process in great detail. First, the astronaut attaches their toothpaste tube to a nearby wall. With the toothbrush in one hand and the drink pouch in the other, they squeeze a small bead of water from the pouch while simultaneously gliding their toothbrush over it. The toothbrush will instantly suck up the water. Then, the astronaut takes their toothpaste and repeats the same process. They will brush their teeth like usual. Once they are done, all they have to do is squeeze some water over their brush and wipe it off with a towel to clean it. Then they can pack up their things and get on with their day. 2nd place, veggies. Not many people enjoy vegetables, though they have recently gained a lot of popularity due to plant-based diets. However, in space, vegetables such as spinach have to go in vacuum-sealed packaging. That's because astronauts attach vegetables to a water distributor and fill the bag until it transforms the brick of spinach into textured food. You've probably already seen that before in memes or even in space theme parks. But the thing about space food coming packaged like that is quite real. However, astronauts really enjoy gardening because it reminds them of life on Earth. They enjoy tending and watering the vegetables and getting them to germinate. Fresh food is so attractive to astronauts that they celebrated with salad when they were able to cultivate a few lettuce heads on the International Space Station 3 years ago. In 2021, scientists hope to grow beans in space in high-tech planters, developed at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. So yes, in the future we will have realistic and functional space farms at our disposal. 1st place, washing your hands and cleaning. Similar to brushing your teeth, even something as simple as washing your hands can be quite difficult to successfully do when in space. On the ISS, astronauts do not shower but rather use liquid soap, water, and rinseless shampoo. They squeeze liquid soap and water from pouches onto their skin. Then they use rinseless soap with a little water to clean their hair. They use towels to wipe off the excess water. And if you're wondering how they manage to clean the ISS, they use liquid detergent, disposable plastic gloves, multi-purpose wiping cloths, and a vacuum cleaner for cleaning. To clean, they spray the detergent, wipe with the cloth, and vacuum the dust. When washing with the detergent, they wear disposable gloves. So what do you think of these normal things we can do on Earth but are unable to do in space? Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure to leave our video a like. Share this video with your friends and also subscribe to our channel and turn notifications on for more great content like today. We hope you enjoyed our video, and we'll see you next time.